Good morning and welcome back to Garage Classic Cars, tinkering on a Saturday morning in the garage. So bit of a funny week this week. I'm away on holiday to Iceland and New York for 8 days, so there won't be much video going on unless I can find anything over in the Big Apple, which we're going to Pennsylvania, my friend and I, Mark Thurwall from work, and there's a car museum in Pennsylvania, so I'm going to go to that. So today I'm just going to tinker around with the Sunbeam behind me and the Fiesta. So when I did the Fiesta, I didn't have any screw covers for the number plates, so I put some white ones which are for like bathrooms and whatnot, but I bought these ones off eBay the other day, a couple of quid, black ones, so I'll put them on the number plate screws. I've also got to do the donuts on the red one, because when I did the exhaust the other week I noticed that the donuts were starting to break up a bit. They've been on a couple of years, they don't last very long, so I bought these, a pair of these off eBay, Quinton Hazel ones. They're just cheap, they don't seem to last these days. I have a band round them, so you can get the bolts in, which I struggle with the band on. I always take the band off personally. I don't know whether it's just because they're cheaper ones. So that's today's challenge. And also the Singer, I just noticed I've got a little oil leak on the oil cooler pipe, so I'm going to take the clip off and re-knit that up. I'll put a new one on, and the washers are not working. The pump's running because I put an electric pump on, however it's not pumping, but I never use them, so whether it just wants blowing in the bottle just to push through the pump, or the pump's US and I have to buy a new pump and a bottle. But it's also the same on the red one, so which is coincidental, so it must be something to do with me not using them. So I've just give the Moderns a quick clean. I've just give the Singer, so the Sunbeam, the Singer, sorry, I apologise, the Singer a quick polish over from you last week when we went out. And I do love this vehicle, but I'm hesitant to sell it. I have sold it provisionally to this gentleman in the Mercedes-Benz club who has an imp, but it's so hard to let go. But we'll have a quick walk around it anyway. Okay, so this is the Chamois Sport. I've just got a bit of an oil leak on the oil cooler hose. I'll put a clip on that, a new clip. But I'll just give it a bit of a polish up. It's probably not the best light, to be honest, to show it in. But yeah, cleaned it all up for him. And a bit of a wax. The inside, the windows need a wipe over again. But I'll go over it again in a minute. It's warming up a bit out here, but it's just a lovely car. It drives as well as it looks, and the wheels just finish it off, in my opinion. Yeah, it's a shame, but it's I've still got the red one there in the back, and I've got the XR2, so it's not so bad. I'm not completely getting rid of everything, but it's just hard when I've had this for like probably nearly 10 years now. I think 2014 I think I bought it, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe 2015. I'll have to check back on my photos, but all the engines in lovely condition, all rebuilt, new engine, 1020 with new valves, new guides, new tappet buckets. It's all standard apart from an overbore, and it just drives so well. It's got an alternator instead of a dynamo. It's got servo, which it should have because it's a sport, and it's got the twin carbs, Strongbergs, as it should have, and the oil cooler there, which they call a bog brush oil cooler, and the sports coil with standard points and condenser, so it's pretty standard. Exhaust is off a mini back box conversion I do, but it's a standard exhaust, 4 branch into 2 into 1, so it's bog standard, still on drum brakes, and it's just lovely. So anyway, I think it's got to go, and if he doesn't want it, if he changes his mind, I'm not bothered, I'll just keep it. But you know, it's got to go to the right person. It's not about the money, it's about the right person with any classic. So anyway, back to the garage. As you can see, my bench is a bit of a tip. It's absolutely doing me head in, so I'm going to have a bit of a tidy up in here today as well. Do the donuts, do the jobs on the green one, get the washers working, get the oil leak fixed on one of them, and do the donuts on the red one, and that's me done for a week and a bit until I'm back off my holidays. So in our Saturday tinkering, we've now tidied the bench a bit better. That feels much better. So we're going to go over to the Singer now. I've just got it jacked up So what we'll have a look is underneath, got a bit of cardboard down, so I'll do it outside. Okay, so we've got two hoses, these here, which come down from the oil cooler and they go to the oil filter housing, and we can see here this one's dripping. And it's got a tie wrap on which I've put on. So I've got a hose clip here which I've split open. And I'm going to hook it round, cut the tie wrap off, hook it round, give it a wipe, and that will cure that little drip. That's another job done on the list of jobs. Okay, so we've now replaced the tie wraps with a couple of hose clips. I've also done the one just behind because that had a bit of a drip on, and I've managed to tighten that nut up there, which is the drain from the cylinder head, which is on all the sport engines. That's what's slightly different than the standard Hillman Imp, because these don't have valve stem oil seals on, which because they're double valve springs, there's no space for them, so they run them without and then have the drain off so it didn't fill the head with oil. Nowadays the engine manufacturers or reconditioners, Wrigley Tube and the like, they put bronze guides in and they machine them down to get a seal off I think it's a BMW engine, valve stem oil seal, and that sits on the top just inside the double valve springs. Okay, so we've looked at the washers and it was a more simple fix than what I thought. So there's the bottle down there, the electric pump on. And like I said, I've converted that because it's normally a hand operated thing, but I'd not used it for so long and not having it MOT'd. No fluid in it, so sorted, filled it up, and happy days. So this is for all them that I've never seen under the what you call a bonnet on a car, but it's a boot. It's the boot space of the Hillman Imp. So it has a front spur wheel there that's at the front. That's the brake and clutch reservoir. There's a fuel cap, bonnet catch there, and then there's a fuel tank with the hose that runs down. Then you've got these covers over each wheel arch. So and then you've got a little jack and your heater. This is your heater intake, comes from the grill at the front through the bulkhead, a bit like a Mini. Not a massive amount of space, but you get a little suitcase in there or two maybe, and you can get quite a lot of stuff crammed in these because they've got lots of little crooks and crannies, like all old cars have. Boxes open here and there and everywhere. So we're all done on this one. So now it's on to the red one. Donut time. Okay, for so them that don't know about Hillman Imps and the drive shaft couplings, just here is the rubber donut which links the gearbox to the drive shaft. And the same as on a Lotus, you can get Lotus donuts which are heavy duty. They cost probably 3 times as much as what a standard one does. So and they last probably, I don't know how much longer, whether they last longer I don't really know. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to replace the standard donuts with standard ones again. So there's 6 bolts, a bolt there and a nut on that side, so we undo that and we take that allows us to drop the drive shaft down and then unbolt the second half, which is a nut just there on the spigot that's in the gearbox, and that allows that to drop down, and then the donut comes out and we put the new one in and away we go. But they're a bit awkward. One is always more awkward than the other. Now the passenger one, a little bit easier to get to, for the simple reason there's no exhaust in the way, so you've got a bit more space, but we should be able to do 2 of them here without having to re-jack the car up. I've got it on the axle stand and the jack just to give it a bit of security, but that's my next job, so we'll revert back when we've got one of the donuts off. Okay, so we've now got this donut off. This is the old one, and as you can just see, there's a crack appearing there, on there, and there's one coming just in there. Get the light just right, it's a bit difficult to see. There's one in there, and there's another one there just starting, and they're quite flexible, you can see, but they tend to go around these joints here. They tend to go a little bit. So that's the old one and that's the new one. Now when I was going about the band before, if you compare them back side by side, don't look much difference. When you line the holes up, and I can just see if I can see through, get the video through. One lines up and then all the others don't. So for me, the band needs to come off. Now maybe these are designed for an ice cream machine, SUK, cheap rubbish, for an ice cream machine. So maybe the band needs to be on the ice cream machine. But some people in the Imp Club, maybe the Lotus ones, do need squashing. But for me, I don't. So just bend that bit back and take the band off, which we'll do now. Get a pair of pliers. Try and do it on the video while we're at it. So basically get that underneath there, bend it up, twist it off. Let's make it a bit of yeah, and then the band's off, and that's stretched out now to the same hole centres. You can see all the way through. On there, on there, on there. And now it's time to put it back on the car. Now these go a certain way. If you look at them, the shallower there and deeper, they're sort of offset. So I believe the deeper part goes onto the drive shaft or the gearbox coupling, and these bits have the backing nuts on. So we'll get back under the car and put this one on. Okay, so there we have it, both donuts done. So this is the passenger one, which is actually not so bad near side. So we'll keep that one as a spare and throw it in the front. You never know, if we're on a rally and somebody's fails, it's there better than none. That one can, with a few splits, and it can go in the bin with the bag there. And well, that's how you do the aluminium donuts. Probably took about 10 minutes to strip it off, and probably 15, maybe 20 minutes to put it on. It's a little bit more awkward trying to put them on. The passenger one had to just prise the donut back a bit with the screwdrivers you saw, just so I could get the spider on off the drive shaft. But all done and dusted now, so the next port of call is to give this car a bit of a clean. Though it doesn't look very dirty. I had a puncture in my modern Mercedes the other week, which ended up wrecking the wheel rim. So I bought another one off eBay, fortunately, but it was black and mine was gunmetal grey. So I had to paint it, and I thought I covered the whole car up, but I'd had the passenger side, driver's side, down here, just uncovered slightly, so there's a little bit of overspray from the lacquer. So I'll just give it a quick compound off, put the stuff back in the boot, clean the windows, and get it outside for a couple of photos while it's nice. Might go and give it a bit of a spin. One thing I also need to do on my carb, I need to put this cap back on. So I've lost, there's like a little castellated nut that sits on the inside, and apparently it's bespoke for this type of carbs. It's not like the normal Weber's, which has a hole in where the air filter goes in, so it can draw air in. So I'm going to have to just drill a couple of holes. I've seen something on the internet. Drill 3 or 4 holes in the bottom, put that on until I get a new cap and a new cover. and that's my job for this afternoon. But we'll do that in a minute, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that one. And then got a nice tidy bench again, like I said, so that makes me feel a bit happier. In the garage, I've given it a hoover out, and my carpet tiles are a bit oily from doing bits of weeps on cars, oil leaks and whatnot. But anyway, that's it for now, and we'll come back in a minute. Okay, so I've drilled this out, put 3 little holes in it, about 6mm, so that will screw on the top of the carburettor, and that'll let a bit of air in to balance. Because when I originally put them on, and I've replicated what came off when I rebuilt the carbs with the carb kit, had this castellated aluminium nut, and I've lost it. I don't know where the heck it's gone. It's disappeared off the face of the earth. But it had a seal on it, a paper circular gasket. Put it on, and when I was revving, it's fine. When it was under load, it wouldn't suck in. So I went out, and it just kept dying on me. So Andy from Strigley Engineering said, no, it's exactly what the problem is. Take them off, you'll be right. Anyway, I have done, and they're right. So I've put one on, but I can't find the other one, and you can't get them for love nor money for some reason. So I've just drilled some holes in, because I've seen this on the internet. It'll do for a temporary measure till I make one or find one, and then we'll get a new cap or weld these holes up. And that'll make me stop all the water going in. It'll not stop the dust, obviously, but it just finishes it off a little bit. So I'm going to put that back on the car. We'll give it a polish, and then we'll get it outside, do a quick walk around on it, and that'll be it for this week. Okay, so that's it for episode 2 of Saturday Tinkering in the Garage. Sunbeam's back together now. Just put my caps on my screws for the Fiesta. I've given it a quick polish round. I'll get some photographs outside of it now. And then it's all back in the garage and wrapped up for a week or 2 till I come back off my jolly holidays. Like I said, I'm going to the Iceland and the States, and we'll go to the Simone, I think it's called, museum in Pennsylvania, and hopefully get some video footage, and while I'm away upload something of that museum if possible. So hopefully the weather will be kind to us as well. So that's it for now, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Happy evening, everybody.